You think you're sewing. You spread a few pieces of fabric across the table. An old shirt, a piece of lace, a scrap of cotton, few strands of thread, maybe a handful of beads. At first, it all seems very simple. My first square of textile that I started seemed very simple also. A few stitches, a little embroidery, perhaps a single bead or two. At the time, I thought I was only learning a new technique. But as the time went on, I began notice something unexpected. The more this textile grew, the more I grew with it. Each new square didn't replace the one before it. It built on it. I added another layer, another story, another attempt, just like this square. It's no longer made from a single piece of fabric. It holds fragments of old garments, scraps of textiles that once had another life. There is some lace, embroidered flowers, threads woven through one another, traces of earlier ideas that were never hidden, but instead became part of something new. And somehow I think that as human beings, we are built in just this way. We don't start over, but using courage, we add to each layer to own that what already exists. Maybe you feel you are adding a little softness to an otherwise difficult day. Or perhaps you're simply taking one slow breath after holding it for far too long. That's what stitching may be. You are building yourself, one small line at a time, one imperfect circle, one uneven stitch, one familiar gesture repeated again and again. Slowly, with patience, you're creating something more authentic. Authenticity rarely arrives in dramatic breakthroughs. More often, it grows quietly, in small actions repeated day after day, in choosing, once again, to sit down at the table, to thread the needle one more time, to make one stitch, and then another, even when life becomes loud, even when it demands more and more from us, when we are exhausted. Perhaps this is what a quiet rebellion is really like. Not fighting, not running away, but gently stepping away from everything that numbs us, reclaiming a few minutes that belongs only to ourselves, collecting small moments of freedom hidden inside ordinary hours. Routine has a way of slowly hardening around us. Days begin to resemble one another so closely that we stop hearing our own thoughts. But mindful, repetitive work is something entirely different. It doesn't close us off, it opens us. It doesn't take us further away from ourselves, but it brings us home. Sewing, painting, writing, caring for plants, looking after animals, cooking with love, a slow walk. Each of these is like another stitch, small on its own, but together they create something remarkably enduring. Today, when I look at the square, I see much more than the fabric. I see every attempt that comes before it. I see that nothing was wasted. Not the fabric, not the mistakes, not the time. Every layer was necessary for the next one to exist. Perhaps our lives are built in just the same way. We don't become ourselves all at once. We become ourselves slowly, layer by layer, stitch by stitch, breath after breath. And when the more difficult seasons arrive, it's comforting to have this place of your own, just like this one, a small corner of the world that we create with our own hands, because we can always return to it. One breath, one stitch, one small act of freedom. And from that single stitch, begin again.